Hey loves, welcome to Timeless Twin Flame Guidance. My name is Blue. If you're new here, welcome to the channel and thank you so much for joining our spiritual community today. If you are already subscribed here, welcome back my dear friend. It's always a blessing to connect with you again. Alright, so let's go ahead and get into tonight's message, which I'm really excited to share with you all. We're diving into an energy update for the collective, but before we even dive deep, there's a message coming in strong. If it's finding you now, it's for a reason. Lately, things might have felt strange, maybe a little off, maybe your plans shifted, or something unexpected happened that stirred up fear or doubt. But here's what Spirit's been making very clear. Those disruptions, that discomfort, it's not here to throw you off, it's here to guide you back into alignment. Sometimes the path forward starts with something that doesn't make sense at all. First, right? It feels unfamiliar, it feels shaky, but underneath that anxiety is a gentle nudge from the universe saying, hey, there's another way, something better, something higher, something meant for you. And when you do find it, you will feel it. That moment of peace, of clarity, of deep breath release, that's your sign, that's the shift. So if you've been wondering why certain things are falling away or not going according to plans, trust that it's not rejection, it's redirection. Alright, Divine Feminine, let's tune into your energy right now. What I'm sensing immediately is this beautiful celebration energy surrounding you. This is pure joy. This is harmony flowing through your life. But more than that, it's about connection, real, heartfelt connection that's finally aligning. Right now, Spirit is highlighting a powerful soul bond forming in your reality. This could absolutely be a romantic union coming into perfect balance, or it could be a divine partnership that just feels completely aligned with your highest good. But for many of you, there's something even more expansive happening. You're stepping into a season of deeper support, a season where you finally feel seen, held, and celebrated, not just by one person, but by the entire sacred circle you're building around you. So let's talk about how this is all coming together, because it's not random at all. This alignment is being magnetized by the energy you're embodying right now. You're moving through life with your heart completely open. You're trusting your feelings, letting your intuition guide every step, and you're choosing softness over struggle. That doesn't mean that you're weak. It means that you're so powerful that you can lead from pure love. See, your emotions, they aren't here to confuse you. They're here to guide you. They are your internal compass, your divine navigation system. When something doesn't feel right, when it makes you feel heavy or anxious, that's your spirit nudging you towards something better. And when it feels warm, calm, and aligned, that is your soul's way of saying yes. That's your green light. That's your pathway that you're meant to walk. What's happening now is truly special. You've been doing this internal work quietly, consistently, and it's starting to reflect in the people you attract. You are calling in relationships and spaces that honor you, whether it's new friendships, stronger family bonds, or your divine counterpart. You're creating your own sacred circle, not because you're trying too hard, but because you're finally being you, fully, authentically, soft and strong at the same time. And let me just say this, your energy is healing. You don't have to say much, just being around you feels like protection. You've got this gentle presence that makes people feel safe. Some of you might be mothers or sisters or caretakers, but even if you're not in those roles, you are someone who naturally nurtures, who holds space, and it goes even deeper than words can express. People feel it. They might not be able to explain it, but they feel it. Right now, you're entering a season where people are going to start seeing you more clearly, not just for how you show up, but for who you are beneath the surface. That light of yours, it's not quiet anymore, it's glowing, it's magnetic, it's reaching the ones who are meant to find you, and it's also stirring something deep inside the ones who lost you, especially that one person who pulled away. If you enjoyed this video so far, subscribing to the channel is a beautiful way to support the channel and help me continue sharing guidance from the heart. Because you know, even if they don't say it out loud, they still feel you. They still think about how peaceful your presence was, how easy it was to just be with you. And now that they're further from your energy, they're realizing just how rare that was, how safe it felt. While they may have had to let go, or failed to recognize what was right in front of them, that memory, it lingers. That feeling, it hasn't faded. If anything, it's grown stronger. Divine Feminine, if you're wondering if they're thinking about you, if they're missing what you shared, they are. But more importantly, you've never stopped being a blessing, even when someone else couldn't see it. In this season that you're stepping into, it's about love that matches your depth, energy that meets you where you are. You're not chasing it anymore, you're attracting it. because you finally see the value in your own light. But here's where the message takes a deeper turn. Spirit is showing me someone who slipped through the cracks, someone who disconnected either because of life circumstances or because they just couldn't understand what this connection was. I'm sensing a very masculine energy who tried to overthink everything. They felt your energy, they felt your heart, but they tried to analyze it, to make it make sense, and when they couldn't, they pulled away. Here's what I want you to hear. That disconnection was not your fault. Sometimes people can't hold what's sacred because they haven't yet healed the parts of themselves that reject real love. But that doesn't make your love any less real. That doesn't make your energy any less powerful. So as we go deeper into this message, we're going to explore why that disconnection happened and what it's teaching you about trust, timing, and the kind of love that truly matches the depth of your soul. Let's continue. What I'm picking up next is this very youthful, restless energy, someone who's drawn to the light but completely unsure how to hold it. Does that resonate? And that light, that was you. This person didn't know what they were walking into when they met you. They didn't prepare themselves. They thought they could handle you like they've handled others. They thought maybe they could keep things casual, surface level, non-committal. But the moment they got close to your energy, something shifted. They couldn't explain it, they couldn't name it, and so they feared it. But here's the thing. What they couldn't understand, they couldn't control. And what they couldn't control scared them. So rather than soften into the unknown, they got trapped in their head. They let the questions take over. Why does this connection feel so intense? Why can't I stop thinking about her? What is this pull that I've never felt before? And instead of asking those questions out loud, they let their fear do the talking. They pulled away, they distanced themselves, or maybe they acted out in a way that left you no choice but to let them go. But what they didn't realize was that pulling away didn't just remove your presence, it removed your protection. Divine Feminine, your energy is different. You don't just enter someone's life, you elevate it. Whether you're aware of it or not, you create this soft space where people feel seen and supported, even if you never say it out loud. And this person, well, they were soaking in that energy the entire time without even realizing it. You were thinking about them, praying for them, sending them silent love. You were that steady anchor in the background, that invisible safety net that caught them when things got too loud in their own head. And when you disconnected, whether by choice or because they pushed you away, they fell through that net, and now they feel it. The silence, the stillness, the space where your energy used to be, and that is hitting them hard. What's incredible is that they never even realized you were holding them like that. They just knew that life felt more manageable when you were in it. And now that you're not, there's a heaviness, a real heaviness, a sense that something is missing, that they can't quite name, but you know exactly what it is. It's your energy, your light, your love. Here's the thing, you knew what you were offering, you always knew, but you didn't brag about it. You didn't wave it around or make it transactional. You gave from your heart quietly, gently, and that kind of love, that is rare, that's sacred. Let me dive deeper into this energy, because it reveals so much about who this person really is. They're charming, they're playful, they're quick with their words. Maybe they came into your life fast, texting you every day, calling you sweet names, taking time to talk about the future with stars in their eyes. It felt like something was blooming between you two, something soft and exciting, and full of potential. They told you how special you were, how different you felt, and you believed them because it was different. Well, as much as they spoke from their heart, they didn't know how to stay in that space. See, this person isn't emotionally grounded. They live in the moment, but not always in the truth. They feel things deeply, but they don't always take the time to understand where those feelings come from. And when things get real, when vulnerability creeps in, they pull back fast. At first, everything felt like magic, but then came the shift. They started focusing on what they didn't understand, what felt unfamiliar, what felt risky. They became distracted by their own fear. That's when the energy changed. Maybe they said less, replied slower, or vanished without really explaining why. And that confusion, that pain, it cut deep. Divine Feminine, I know you felt it. One moment you were dreaming of a future. The next you were sitting alone, wondering what went wrong, questioning yourself, doubting your intuition, wondering how someone who made you feel so cherished could disappear like that. And I want you to hear this loud and clear. You didn't imagine it. The love was real, the connection was real, but the way they handled it, that's on them, not you. What I'm sensing so clearly now is how this person truly sees you. They see you as their dream, their ultimate wish fulfilled. You check every single box for them emotionally and spiritually, but they've got this habit of focusing on what's missing instead of what's right in front of them. Even with everything they ever wanted sitting right there, they keep staring at the one thing they think they don't have, and that's not your burden to carry at all. This person may have been romantic with you. They may have promised things early on, talked about dating, relationships, maybe even a future together, and you held space for those dreams because you felt the potential. But the truth is, their emotional maturity got in the way. Not because they didn't feel anything, but because they felt too much and didn't know how to hold it. But here's the shift. They're feeling the loss of you now, more than ever, and the silence they created, it's really echoing back to them. What I'm picking up next is this moment of deep emotional conflict, where someone, instead of facing the truth, turned away from it. And Divine Feminine, this insight is really for you. I'm sensing that at one point this person might have said they saw a future with you, maybe even mentioned marriage, big promises, bold declarations, and looking back now, you might be asking yourself, was that real or was I just being manipulated? People around you may have warned you. They told you it was too fast, too much. But here's the truth, underneath it all, this person wasn't making things up. What they said, what they felt, it was real. In fact, this isn't someone who usually expresses emotions like that. They're not the type to throw around the word love or even talk about commitment, and yet something in them really got shaken. When they met you, that's exactly what happened. You shook something loose in them. It's not that they were trying to manipulate you, it's that you brought out a version of them they didn't know existed. You mirrored back their highest self, the one they wish they could be all the time. And for a while, they tried to match that energy. They tried to step into that version of themselves, to meet you at that level. But here's what happened. Somewhere along the way, their fears kicked in. That inner voice started whispering, what if I can't keep this up? What if I'm not enough? And instead of staying open and working through it, they shut down. They got quiet. Maybe they pulled away or became indecisive. They might have told themselves it was too fast, or too intense, or too good to be true. But underneath all that logic, this was fear. And what's truly profound, Divine Feminine, is this person wasn't trying to deceive you. They were actually being exposed to themselves. You showed them the gap between who they want to be and who they still are. That right there is powerful, and it terrified them. So what did they do? Well, for some of you, they might have started acting out. Not because they stopped loving you, but because they were overwhelmed. Maybe they started second-guessing things. Maybe they even tried to make you question yourself. It's like they projected their own insecurities onto you, not because you weren't enough, but because they didn't feel like they were. This is someone who deep down didn't feel worthy of the version of themselves that you saw so clearly. And when they couldn't live up to that image anymore, when that high of connection settled, they felt like they were being exposed. So what did they do? They backed away. But Divine Feminine, don't get it twisted. What they felt, that was real. That wish fulfillment energy was real. But what they did with it, that's the part they're still learning to work through. So if this person disappeared, got cold, went quiet, or made you question your own worth, you are not crazy. You're not imagining it, but you're also not the one that caused it. You were the mirror. You were the light. And that light, it just shined a little too bright on the places that they still needed to heal. Now I want to speak to the energy you're embodying right now, because Divine Feminine, this is you in your full power. This is the energy of the ultimate feminine, calm, confident, radiant without even trying. You don't chase, you don't force, you simply are, and your energy calls in everything aligned for you, without even needing to lift a finger. While you were standing in this powerful feminine energy, someone else was watching. Someone who felt your light, someone who got a little too close to something they didn't quite understand. This person, your masculine, was drawn in from the start. They couldn't explain it. It wasn't just attraction, it was deeper than that. Your presence pulled something up from the inside for them, something they weren't ready to look at, something they've buried. And in the beginning, they loved it. They loved the way you made them feel, seen, inspired, elevated. But the more they felt that inner mirror reflecting back, the more they started to feel exposed. Because here's the truth, when you're around someone who holds that much light, it's hard to ignore your own shadows, and that's exactly what happened. You didn't do anything wrong, you were just being you. You were just standing in your worth, and that energy alone caused their inner walls to shake. I'm sensing that for some of them, they started to act out. Maybe they pulled away without explanation. Maybe the messages slowed. Maybe they went quiet or tried to make you question yourself. It's like they tried to make you wonder if you were imagining things. And your intuition, it picked up on everything. You felt the shift in energy before the behavior ever showed up. And still you gave them grace. You held space, because that's what the divine feminine does. But at some point, it became too much. The back and forth, the hot and cold, the push and pull, you reached your limit, not from a place of bitterness, but from clarity. You knew your energy was sacred. You knew it was time to pull back. And that is when they felt it. They didn't even realize how much your energy was really covering them until it was gone. You were lifting them up in ways they didn't even understand. Some of you were actively sending them love. Others were holding them in your thoughts and prayers. But even if you weren't doing anything intentionally, your energy was the net. It was the safe space, the silent shield. And once they fell through it, they noticed. You know, I'm hearing, I didn't even know what I had until it slipped away. They're feeling that right now, loud and clear. And yet, even if they're waking up to this now, they still don't fully realize what they're feeling, because this is someone who isn't deeply introspective. They don't always take time to understand their own emotions. They stay on the surface, they act fast, talk fast, live fast. But this connection slowed them down, and that scared them. Now, here's where it gets even more layered. This masculine knew you were special from the beginning. You checked every box. You were their wish fulfillment. You were what they didn't even know they were searching for. But instead of feeling grateful, they fixated on the one thing that they didn't understand, the one thing that scared them. Maybe it was your strength. Maybe it was your emotional depth. Maybe it was your spiritual connection that felt way too big for words. But whatever it was, they focused on that one missing piece, not the completeness that they already had. So what did they do? Again, they pulled away, not because you weren't enough, but because you were too much for their unhealed parts to handle. They might have acted like they were fine, like they weren't affected, but inside they were rattled. Your energy cracked them open, and they had no idea how to process that. Now, Divine Feminine, fast forward to today. You've been doing your healing, you've been calling your power back, and while they still might be in your thoughts or showing up in your energy, you have shifted. You're not in the same space that you were when they left. You're stronger now, softer too, but in the way that only comes from doing the inner work. And now I'm sensing this massive energy shift coming in. I know change can feel intense, but what if it's not here to scare you? What if it's showing up right now to free you? See, massive change doesn't happen unless something was built that needed to be restructured, right? This transformation, it's not for the sake of pain. It's spirit saying, let me clear what you've outgrown so I can give you more. Right now, I'm feeling that you're standing between two very different energies, and they are pulling on you in opposite ways. One of them feels peaceful, like ease, like flow, like when you've tuned into your body, when you're moving with your emotions, not against them. You're guided by what feels right, not what makes sense on paper. You trust the signs, you follow the nudges, you let spirit lead, and when you're in that space, things align, conversations click, opportunities appear. You don't chase, you attract. You don't hustle, you allow. You don't beg, you receive. But then there's this other energy, the one that tells you that you have to figure it all out on your own. The energy that says, be logical. It makes you feel like you're falling behind if you don't control every detail. And when you're in that space, Divine Feminine, it's like trying to swim upstream. It's exhausting, it's overwhelming, and no matter how hard you try, it never quite feels like enough. That's the energy that breaks when we try to force things that we were never meant to hold so tightly. That's what begins to crumble when we say, I can't do this anymore. It's hurting me. But this isn't just about your personal path. I'm picking up on something collective here, a big shift, a massive realignment in consciousness. This is what we often call the split between old paradigm and new paradigm thinking. Now, if you're new to this language, don't worry. This is not about disappearing into another dimension. It's about choosing how you live, how you feel, how you move through this world. The old paradigm is heavy. It's where everything is about appearances, logic, fear, and control. Where success is measured by what you do, not who you are. Where emotions are suppressed and intuition is ignored. But the new paradigm, that is a whole different rhythm. It's heart over ego, intuition over logic, flow over force. It's building your life around what feels true, not what looks safe. It's alignment over appearance, and it's surrender over struggle. And if you're resonating with this message, it's because your soul has already started moving in that direction. You're already stepping into that softer, lighter, more peaceful way of being. But that shift, it comes with releasing, and that releasing is what this transformation is here to help you do. It's okay to feel a little shaken right now. It's okay to feel like your old tools aren't working anymore, because really they're not supposed to. You're not meant to keep pushing. You're meant to pause, to breathe, to trust the current, because just like a river, life is always flowing. When you swim against it, you struggle, but when you turn around and move with it, you glide, you arrive, you open up space for miracles. So here's what Spirit wants you to know. You don't have to figure it all out today. You don't need to have the perfect plan. You just need to keep choosing the path that feels lighter, the one that honors your heart, the one that brings you closer to peace, even if it doesn't make sense to anyone else. Because your path, it was never meant to look like theirs. You're not here to fit into old systems. You're here to build new ones, starting with yourself. So if everything feels like it's transforming right now, maybe it's because you're about to rise higher than you've ever gone before. And finally, I'm sensing this beautiful star-like energy around you. This makes so much sense, because this message today, it's for the ones who've been feeling the pull, the ones who are waking up every day knowing that there's something more, a different way of living, a different way of being. And you've felt it, haven't you? That gentle tug pulling you out of the old and into something that feels a whole lot more like home. Now here's what's also coming through. Some people around you, they're still holding tight to that old world. Structure, control, fear, survival. It's all they've ever known. And on a soul level, that might actually be where they're meant to be right now. Because even that path, it's serving their growth in its own way. We are all walking different journeys. But if you're here, if you've landed on this message, Spirit is saying that your path is different. You're not just here to survive, you're here to expand, to rise, to align with that higher way of being, that place where abundance flows, love leads, and control gives way to trust. You're here to remember who you really are. And here's the thing, you might have noticed it's not so easy to switch back and forth anymore. You can't force things the way you used to without feeling it. You can't ignore your truth without something inside of you going quiet. It's like your soul is becoming more sensitive to anything that doesn't match your frequency. It's not a setback, that's your evolution. You're becoming more tuned in, more awake, and because of that, the old energy doesn't sit the same way it used to. You're feeling quicker, you release it faster, you don't fit where you once did, and that's okay. You were never meant to stay small. Now, I know this might sound like a lot. I know some of it can feel really big. But if you're still here listening, it means that you are ready. You've been receiving the signs. You've been hearing the whispers of your own soul, asking for something deeper. And this journey you're on, it's not about becoming someone else. It's about returning to who you've always been. And that's what I hope this space helps you with. Not to give you answers, but to remind you of the ones you already have inside of you. Because you are the one holding the keys. You are the one guiding your own realignment. I'm just here to walk with you for a moment and hopefully help you trust yourself a little more. Alright, this feels like a beautiful place to close this message. If your heart is full, if you feel pulled to go deeper into who's still connected to your energy, or how your spirit is shifting into something higher, you're already doing the work. You are on your way, and Spirit is so proud of you. If this message stirred something within, please let me know in the comments. And don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already. I'll see you in the next one. Remember, you are safe, you are seen, and you are exactly where you are meant to be. Bye for now.